Command Center post-game live is presented by United Airlines. Proud to fly the Washington Commanders. Brian Cooper Jr. here with Mr. 8-9 Santana Moss, Super Bowl champion Brian Mitchell. Fellas, it ended up actually being a close game.
Yeah.
Not what we necessarily expected after that first half. Initial thoughts, Tanner?
My initial thoughts that, coming into this game, I wanted to see a competitive game. That first half made me think that we're here to watch nothing. And then things got kind of interesting, when the quarterback switched. This team just needed that spark. And, Jacoby came in and gave him that spark. I would like to see these guys finish it strong, but, we almost got there, just wasn't good enough.
Tell of two halves. You can see what happens on a football team when you're helping the other team out, you're not making plays. And then when you begin to start playing and you don't make those mistakes and you begin to do things to help yourself, that is what, you can see a game happen like that. In that second half, they were the better football team. First half seemed like, I don't know what type of team we were, but, we came back and we fought, and you want to see that.
28-30, your final score. Let's get into the fast play of the game presented by Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today, but please play responsibly. And this play goes to no other than AG for his go-ahead touchdown in the fourth that put us back in it. Tell us how you felt about AG in that touchdown.
Well, I felt great, man. I feel like we had a chance to really, punch it in there. I thought it was, who was it, Bates, that had a chance to score earlier right before him. He fumbled the ball or dropped the ball at the 1 yard line, and then, they gave a chance to AG, who we know that can make those opportunities count when he get them. And he did just that, got a touchdown for us and gave us that hope that we was finna go, pull away with this victory.
I was happy to see that it was a run going in, because I think a lot of times we get into that got to be a little fancy.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you had a hat on a hat. The offensive line got a hat on a hat. And the running back in the NFL is supposed to be able to find a hole. AG found it. He ran the ball hard, like you're supposed to be. You don't try to get 20 yards. You're trying to get one. And that means just to go everything that you can. He was able to find a good gap there and got that touchdown.
And Commanders family, we are awaiting Ron Rivera's presser. We will take that immediately as soon as we have him. Until then, we will continue to talk about this game. Now, B-Mitch, we talked a lot about the running game. We didn't have B-Rob. How do you feel Chris Rodriguez and AG did as a tandem filling in for B-Rob?
I think they did well, especially down the stretch. They gave him the ball. They were getting 4 yards, 5 yards, and that type of thing. But it comes down to not just the running backs. It's about what the offensive line is doing. Do they sustain blocks? Are they falling off a box? Are they missing it? They were staying on the blocks, and you can see that all, those guys, AG and Rodriguez, they can find holes. And I just think that when you begin to get a hat on a hat and guys are running as hard as they did, good things can happen for you.
I know we was talking about missing B-Rob coming into the game, but if you watch some of those runs that Rodriguez had, he ran tough. He ran with eviction. He ran, with a passion behind it, saying that, hey, I want to be a difference maker, and that gave us, that much needed yardage. Some of those plays he was getting met in the backfield, and he was able to break tackles and find ways to get us yardage. So it was great to see him go out there and him and AG both share that backfield together and do some big things. I believe he scored twice and AG scored once. So it was great to see those guys go out there and do it together.
And we talked about C-Rod. We're going to talk about C-Rod a little bit later, but it's been great because we've talked about this a lot, that next man up mentality with this team. These guys coming in and stepping up. Jacoby Brissett gets in early in the third quarter. I don't think any of us really expected that, but he comes in early and frankly balls out. How did it feel to see Jacoby Brissett come in, take control of this offense, and get us on the board?
It felt great. It felt great just knowing that we was kind of watching the game. We all wanted Sam to play well. We was all rooting for him. We was all hoping that he can put last week behind him and just come out here and play ball. And things weren't going well for him. And we was kind of wondering, okay, do we pull him now? Every series came up that we gave him the opportunity. Do we pull him now? And when Jacoby got in there, the difference you saw immediately was just a guy that's saying, hey, regardless of where that other defender is at, I'm giving my guy a chance to catch this ball. I'm going to get rid of the ball. I'm letting it go. And that's some of the things that you wanted to see from the young Sam. At times I believe when he's in those situations, he's hesitant because of the interceptions. He's hesitant because of the sacks. He's trying to make the right play when sometimes you're shooting yourself and not making the right play because you're doing the wrong thing by holding on to it or not letting it go. So it was great to see that veteran again coming in and show him how to get it done, and he did just that, man, got us back in the ball game.
Yeah, I think when Jacoby went in, you could see that this offense works. The whole thing about it, it's like you have to be crisp, you have to be quick, you have to go out there and just make the pass. A lot of things with young quarterbacks, and I've said this from the beginning of the season, nothing new. Young quarterbacks want a guy to clear, and then they throw at the guy. veteran quarterbacks throw to a spot. It's a thing called throwing a guy open. Yeah, I can remember one of the best connections ever. That bang, that bang 8. When you run that from the inside of the number, hit that outside, bang, ball's there. Joe Montana will let the ball go before Jerry Rice ever decided to hit that spot and turn his head. And I think that's what young guys have to realize. And then what happens, once you don't get that, you throw a couple interceptions, you start seeing pressure. And if you're seeing the pressure instead of feeling the pressure, you can't see what's happening down the field. That's why you see a hesitation in the pass delivery. And that's the main thing right there. Because we sat here, and I have to apologize to the offensive line. Because a lot of times we sit here and we say it's the offensive line. And in the day when I watch distinctly, I am watching the double clutches, the double pumps, and the ball not coming out in time. Where you see a guy about to make a cut, and you're waiting for him to make the cut, then turn. Too late. The ball has to be in the air, so when he turns, the ball hits him in the chest. And I think that's the ultimate thing where that experience of a Jacoby Brissett is what makes a big, big difference.
Yeah. And B-Mitch, I got to ask you the question everybody's thinking now. What now for Sam? What happens next? Last game we saw, Ron Rivera came up here and said Sam is still our starting quarterback. Very different circumstance than what we saw today. In your opinion, what happens next, B-Mitch?
Well, in 3 weeks, you've seen 3 weeks of very subpar football.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks where he had to get pulled. I think if you're really talking to fans about we're trying to win and things of that nature, they're not going to believe that you're trying to if you start off with them again. Listen, this is the NFL, and I hear so many people saying how you have to handle certain people. This is not a little boy's game. This is the NFL. This is a grown man sport. You can't worry about people's feelings too much. You have to make decisions that are going to be what's best for your team to go forward. And I think when we look at last week and we look at this week, the best opportunity to win games is going to be with Jacoby Brissett at this point. It could be something else later, but you can't sit up here and worry about later. You worry about now. And if your idea is to win games, Jacoby should be the guy starting next week.
And then the bad thing about that is just, it's almost like too late. You know what I mean? It's too late to be trying to now. Let's win. You know what I mean? So it's like darn if you do, darn if you don't. We're in that kind of situation when it comes to just now we want to go in and say, okay, this is our better chance to go out there and win when we don't have nothing to, play for. And then now you're kind of basically putting yourself out of hope of getting one of those early picks that most of these fans want now. You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22 right now. We're in a tough situation.
That T-word.
But still, exactly. But still, you want to go out there and be competitive. You want to go out there, and every man on that field is not worried about no draft pick because it's worrying about, like I said before, their jobs. So they're not caring about what you're picking next year because half of them like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be here next year. Or, it's guys that's on that contract that need a contract that is fighting for a job either here or somewhere else. So you just hope for the best, man, that say going forward, let us go out there and put a winning foot forward. A winning foot forward will give us that chance to say, let's see a Brissett, because I feel like he deserves it now after showing you 2 weeks in a row that he can come in and bring the team back.
And Tanner, I have the pleasure of spending a lot of time with you guys, and wherever I'm with you guys, fans are saying, well, why win? Why win? Yeah. Why win? We want the draft pick. Why win? Y'all are players. Y'all have been out there. Y'all have been in those trenches. Explain to the people why wins still matter right now and the draft pick not so much.
Well, I'm trying to win regardless of, what it brings me next year come spring when it comes to the draft or this year now that we out of it. I want to win because that's what I do. That's what I'm paid to do. I'm paid to go out there and put a winning effort on the field individually, and then hopefully that works collectively and we can go out there and get the W. But the reason why I say why win, I mean, why you ask the question, why win, why would I want to win? Because I don't care about the draft. I mean, you can say that, yes, if we don't, we land this position, but that's not going to get us to the Super Bowl. We've been in that position before. We drafted the second guy, second best player, second overall pick before. We draft other guys in the first round. Still, we haven't put it all together yet. It takes more than just one guy. Yeah. And you can go out there and be in the best seat to get that top 3 quarterback or whatever it may be. If you ain't got the line blocking for him, what does it matter? Or you go get that guy and you don't fill in other slots. You know what I mean? So I'm all about taking care of business now. If that's the chance to go out there and play to win, we do that. When the draft comes, we'll deal with the draft then. We'll cross that bridge then. But that's the reason why, when you say why win, that's why I want to win, because I'm out here. I'm not out here just to play around and just be out here. That's how you get injured, and that's how you lose your job if you don't go out there with that kind of effort.
You try to win because that's the culture you want to build. You try to win because you want people to always feel that's what we're all about. I understand, like the one thing when we talk about tanking and we talk about those type of things, that's never coming from a locker room.
Yeah.
That whatever those things go down, that's front office decisions. It's never what's happening with a player or something like that. You know why you win? You win because, you know what, you want to tell guys that you have a chance. All right, you want to stop having the mindset. And I know fans will get mad at me, but I could care less if you get mad at me. We've drafted first round after first round after first round. Do it work every time? It's not guaranteed when you draft in the first round. It's not guaranteed when you draft anyone. That person has to go there and build themselves and grow to become the players that they want to be. Listen, you can go through the league right now and look at the quarterbacks. Not everybody was a first-round pick. We can start looking at a lot of the receivers that are making big-time plays. Not everybody was a first-round pick.
Ron, what second straight week Jacoby's come in and made those kind of plays. What's the difference with him coming into the game as opposed to what Sam was showing?
I would say a little bit more about veteran experience. I would say a little bit more of the fact that, you know, he's been through these types of things, and Sam's still learning and growing. You know, and it was, you know, again, it was my decision. I talked to let EB know, and he was fine, and we just went ahead and did it.
Would you start Jacoby next week?
Well, we're going to put everything in and evaluate everything. We'll, you know, we'll come into the conclusion very early in the week.
Did you have any conversation with Sam after he came out or after the game at all?
I just chit-chatted with him just a little bit just now, and you know, had an opportunity to talk to him quickly.
And Tavita and Bienemy both kind of indicated last week that they felt like he was pressing a bit. Did you sense that again today?
I did, and you know, it was tough. You know, we didn't help him early. We dropped a couple balls that we probably should have caught, and you know, and then that's tough. You know, and you know, your confidence sometimes can get shaken, and that's what I started to feel in the second half, and I was really concerned, and that's why I made the decision I did.
Early in the game, did you see moments where you felt Sam was growing and developing, and if so, where?
I saw moments I thought he was doing pretty good, you know, and like I said, you know, we all got to make plays, and when we get those opportunities, we got to do those things.
This is a kind of an awkward question, but some fans were rooting against you guys today for draft position. Do you notice that, or what do you make of that?
I don't make of that. I really don't. You know, I'm going to show up, and we're going to work, and we're going to play to win. Everything we do is about winning. It got nothing to do with about losing, okay? If that's what they're thinking, then that's unfortunate.
Ron, with Jacoby, is it just a matter of him being decisive and just going where?
Yes, and that's one of the things that, you know, you don't want Sam to overthink. You know, I mean, he's got a lot of pressure. He's been trying to do a lot of things to make things happen, and you can't fault him for that.
Young quarterbacks can go in a million different directions. Yeah. When a guy gets benched twice, I mean, he's going to obviously start thinking about things. What do you do to kind of talk to him about
We
that?
most certainly will talk about those things. We'll talk about just the opportunities he's had and how much he's learned, how much he's grown. You know, he's got to look at this as this is just part of the things, you know, the process to go through it.
The start of the game probably couldn't have gone much worse.
No, it couldn't have been any worse. It really couldn't have been. You're absolutely right. It was about as bad as it could have been.
To go from that to how the game finished, I don't mean the kick, of course, but the way you guys were able to rally. Yep. I guess what does that just say about
the grit? It really does. I love the question. I really do. It's about the grit, the heart that those guys have in that room. They're going to fight for each other. They're going to play for each other. I told you guys last week it's about being a professional, and that's what these young men showed, that they are professionals. They're not going to quit. They're not going to roll over, and they're not going to die. I couldn't be more proud of a group of young men than the guys that came out, especially in the second half, and fought and played and gave it everything they have. You know, they have pride, they have grit. That's probably the best thing you could say about those young men.
And you had a bunch of injuries in game.
Yeah.
Any sense of those guys and how they're doing?
Not yet. We do know Andrew had a hyperextended elbow. You know, they'll have to examine it, but he was available just in case of emergency. They taped it up, put a sleeve on it to try and secure it. So if we got into a pinch, he would have gone back out for us. I really appreciate that attitude. Chris rolled his ankle. You know, it's probably going to be sore the next couple of days, but we'll be able to evaluate him a little bit more tomorrow. And Benjamin had a slight concussion, and I don't want to downplay it because he'll be in the protocol, and you know, he'll have to be examined all week, and we'll see how he does. To that point, it was good to see Emmanuel get out there and play. I thought he had some really good moments. There was one that got a little hairy, but he really stepped up, so that was good to see, and I can't wait to watch the tape on that.
Coach, with along the lines of Chris Rodriguez, he had his first NFL touchdowns today. Anything you can kind of say about his growth and what you've just seen since rookie camp to today?
That's a good word for it, was growth, because you know, he's worked hard. He's done a lot of tough things. He's He's grown up a little bit. And, one of the things that we always talk about is when you see a rookie play on special teams the way Chris has played all year, you just feel that when he gets his chance, he's gonna step up. Well, he got his chance today, and he really did step up in a big way. Last week he had a couple of really good runs, and he put a good game together today. And I know, we get a chance to watch film, we could evaluate a little bit more, but it's one of those things that you feel good about the young man.
JP, last one. There's been a fair amount of losses one-sided. How much harder is it when it goes that way and it's at the last second?
Oh, it's hard as hell. It really is. Trust me, those guys in that room right now are really disappointed just because they fought, scratched, clawed, did everything to get to that position, and to have that happen, I mean, it was a hell of a kick. You got to give Zerline tremendous credit. I mean, that ball would have been good if it was on the 50. I mean, he smoked it. So kudos to him. But for our guys, they wanted it. They really did. They felt it, and unfortunately, it didn't go our way. But they played hard.
With Sam, does it seem like he's the same guy he was a month ago, 6 weeks ago?
That's a little bit to be evaluated. It's one of the things that you look back at some of the games he had a month ago, and wow, that's good. But there's been some things lately that we have to evaluate and decide on. All right, cool. Thank you guys. Hey, Merry Christmas to all.
That was your head coach, Ron Rivera. Final score 28-30 of this Christmas Eve matchup against the New York Jets. Now, before we go to break, it is time for today's Never Ordinary Play, presented by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Now, this play goes to Chris Rodriguez, our young rookie running back, getting his first career touchdown. His 12-yard touchdown with 6 minutes left put us on the board 7-20. Great to see our young guy get his first touchdown. First of many, he got another one a little later. We'll talk about that. Until then, we are headed to break. When we come back, we will be hearing from both of your Commanders quarterbacks. This is Command Center on the road in New York, brought to you by Northwest Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Washington Commanders. We invite you to stop searching and go Northwest. Check out nwfcu.org/Washington to see how easy it is to join and how Northwest can help make your money work for you. Stop by our branch or visit nwfcu.org/Washington today. We will be back with more. Do not go anywhere, Commanders family.
Have fun, sis.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
Go by quickly? Football goes by quickly. So cherish every rush pass and rush pass turn pick six with instant withdrawals on FanDuel if you win. Because holiday football won't last forever, and soon it'll just be March.
Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Oh, game's on. We need more chips. More dip, too.
More?
Yes, more. Oh, that reminds me. We can still score that $400 bonus from Northwest if we hurry. It's with your first ever checking account.
$400? That's the kind of more I like.
Then let's do it. But first, more chips.
To earn bonus, open first ever checking account and deposit at least $500 in ACH or direct deposits per month within the first 90 days. Offer ends November 30. Details at nwfcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Go beyond the expected with the #1 most dependable mass market brand 3 years in a row by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
One bag.
The winter play was really coming together. Until disaster struck. tensions were high. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. We're delivering more happy for the holidays.
Dad, we're gonna be late.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
Hey, grab me one too.
Stone of the championship. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary.
Roger, this is looking good.
We believe every moment in sports should be epic.
Are you watching this?
Is that curling? Nah.
This morning's news, curling fever has taken over the world.
So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
My darling granddaughter, this camera was given to me when I was your age. May it capture your big, beautiful life the way it did mine.
It's so surprising what the little things can do. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody...
Oh, Merry Christmas, Grandma.
Jacoby, so how did it feel going out there?
Felt good. I mean, you always just got to be ready when your number's called, obviously, and so yeah.
Any other kind of like observations that you had that helped you to kind of get into the game and say, kind of move quickly, right? It was what, in the third quarter or so? So did you say, all right, we want to try to make a move, maybe perhaps win the game? Was there anything that you specifically saw to
I don't think nobody's in here going out there to lose, Right. So the mindset obviously was to go find a way to put points on the board, put together a couple drives, and for us to go down and score a couple times and win. And that was literally it.
So, Kobe, one of the things EB was talking about this week with Sam is that he just needs him to be more decisive. I just wondered, from your standpoint as an experienced quarterback, how does experience allow you to just go, this is what I see, this is what I'm going to throw to?
I mean, honestly, like, it'll be easy for me to come up here and say, like, man, I just, it's because I'm a veteran that things like that happen. It's just like how things just work out sometimes, and I literally the same thing I did last week, the same thing I did this week. I'm talking to Sam, man. It's just like some of these things are you don't know, or you learn it as you go, and you got to go through it you got to get through it, and you got to go through it, and for me, it's just going out there and just playing football and how I know how to do best, and trying to put our team in the best position possible, put myself in the best position possible, and letting the results take care of themselves.
And as somebody that was, at one point you were inexperienced like Sam.
Oh, yeah. So
how do you counsel him now as he's going through this?
I mean, I told him, man, this is going to be the hardest part of your career right now, and it's going to feel like, man, that you're in this by yourself, and it's snowballing. It's one thing after another. It's one thing after another. But I know from being in this league, man, it's the good ones find a way to get to the other side, no matter how long it takes, how hard it is, you surround yourself with good people. I hope he leans on me as one of those good people that'll help him get through this, because I know I will. And you just go through it like that, and it's no, I mean, what all the coaches say, it's no magic pill. It's no magic thing for somebody to go over there and say, Sam, do this, and everything works. it's man, you gotta go through it, you know, and you just gotta make sure that you got the right people in your ear. You know, you keep your confidence, you stay true to who you are, because that's what's gotten you to this far. And you know, I'm excited for him, man. I told him that, like, literally I got run off the field. I'm excited for this part of your career, because not a lot of people get this experience, man. And the ones that come on the other side, man, they have a better story than a lot of people. And I'm sure he'll appreciate, you know, this part of his journey at the end of his career.
How do you respond to that message?
The message I just said?
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling Sam.
Right. No, I'm saying, how did Sam respond to that?
Oh, you know, he understood it, you know, and like I told somebody else, I mean, that's like my little brother, man. It's like I told him before I started, I said, I'm probably the last person you want to hear from right now. But, you know, he's obviously, you know, processing a lot of stuff right now, you know, and as he should be, you know, that's part of the journey is processing and questioning and you know, and looking inside to find answers and looking other places to find answers. So he understood it, you know, and he was receptive of it. You know, I'm probably one of his biggest fans on his team, you know, made right now seem like probably biggest fans in this world, you know, and so at the end of the day, you know, he understands what he has to do, and like I said, I'm excited for him, man, because I know he's not going to do it by himself.
And how much of the next steps for him are about, you know, maybe learning some things and technique versus keeping his mind right and, you know, staying resilient to the situation?
I know the one thing that probably matters more than technique and all that stuff is Sam believing in Sam, you know. Getting out of bed, man, putting on your shoes and going into that building. You know, Bill Parcells, who's my biggest mentor, who's pretty much like my granddad. You know, he said, you know, when you step in that huddle on Wednesday, they got to believe that you're the guy, and I believe that that's what he's gonna do. I'm gonna make sure he does.
Jacoby, when a young quarterback gets in those spots, how hard is it to get out of that and to think like? Because people say, "Oh, stop overthinking, just let it." How hard is it to do that when you're in that spot?
It's the hardest thing, you know. And you don't know that you got it figured out until you get it figured out, and you don't know until it's, like I said, to get through it, you got to go through it, you know, and you won't know until you're on the other side, and then like a lot of those things that you were doing, you know, they just go away, you know, and it's nothing secret, it's nothing magic, it's just one day if you stick with it long enough, you know, that's what I tell myself, that's what I've told myself plenty of times, you know, is one day it'll click, and then whenever it does, you know, you lean tight to that, but you also have the experience to be able to look back and be like, man, like, I went through something like this.
Could you tell that he was pressing?
Pressing? I mean, no. I mean, listen, this position is the hardest position in all the sports, man. It's hard to say somebody's out there pressing or trying to go win a game, you know, and trying to make plays. And that's what every time I watch him play, I'm seeing a kid fight for everything, you know, and like I said, it's easy for somebody to come up here and say, like, oh, he could have did this or he could have did that, or Jacoby went in the game and did this and did that. But, you know what I mean? Like, what he's had to endure this year and what he's gone through and like, these moments right now and he's still standing tall, you know what I mean? Like, man, I'm excited for this part of his career, man. I think he's gonna come out on top, and a lot of these questions are going to be answered by y'all rather than him.
All right. Thanks, Jacoby. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You just heard from quarterback Jacoby Brissett. Now, before we talk about what he had to say, let's get into our post-game delivery presented by Panos. Since your Commander scored 4 touchdowns today, that's crazy to say, make sure you visit your local Panos tomorrow where you will receive 4 free toppings all day long. Now, Tanner, you the pizza man.
Yeah.
Why should they pull up to Panos and get them 4 free toppings?
Best taste of pizza in the world. Point blank, period.
Now, a real question for y'all now. We heard Jacoby Brissett say they asked, of course he's being asked about Sam Howell, and he chose grace. He said he's going to be a leader for Sam. He's going to look out for Sam. That's his guy. How great is that to see a veteran quarterback who's just been chomping at the bit to get in, show love like that to Sam?
I mean, that's what you expect from a guy like that. I mean, he haven't been on the many teams that he's been on, being a considered backup or a guy who can play in this league for no reason. I think he's shown that, you know, from day one, and just to know that he's still has a guy like that back. He understands that this position is harder than what folks may think it is. You know what I mean? When you have a young guy that's going through the growing pains throughout the season, it's rough. And, like, trust me, who knows? Sam could be a completely different person next year and be, like, the best quarterback in this league. That's how it happens sometimes. I mean, you have to lose. You have to fail. You have to go through some of these pitfalls to become who you're going to be. So a guy like that, man, you know, great stand-up guy, just letting you know that, hey, I was once him before too. Somebody had to have my back, and that's where I'm at today.
And I think sometimes it just shows you this, where you have to. It's a learning experience that when he got called, he was ready.
Yeah.
You have to always be ready. And I think that's the main thing: being prepared, being ready, and making sure you always have yourself in that situation, because this game is judged based off of when you're called upon, what you do. Yeah. That's all you can do with it.
And as you see Sam walking up to the podium, and very interesting, you see Jacoby following him as well. We will be taking Sam as soon as he is ready at the podium. Fellas, I would ask y'all a question, but I'd have to interrupt you in order for that. But very excited to see what's I'm very
Hey, Sam, how are you feeling?
Say it again.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, disappointing game. Obviously, we'd like to play a little better, but is what it is. Just got to try to keep getting better. Just try to keep getting better each and every week.
What was going on today, and what are some of those things that you're thinking of?
Yeah, we just struggled to get anything going. It was hard early on. I didn't play my best ball today, and I got to be better. I think it starts with me, and I got to be better. Got to make better decisions. Got to make better plays.
Sam, one thing EB was talking about this week was he wants decisiveness, good, bad, or indifferent. Did you think you were decisive today?
Yeah, I thought I was. I thought I was making some decisive decisions. We just, weren't getting the outcomes we wanted, and it was kind of hard to get something going there early on.
And every quarterback in the world goes through what you're going through right now at one point or another, but it's the first time for you here, and I just wonder how you start to process all of it.
Yeah, I just got to keep controlling what I can control. I'm gonna keep taking it one day at a time, and I know it's still early on in my career. I'm still a young player, and I just got to keep doing what I can to just keep trying to get better, and not let this moment define who I am as a player, who I am as a person, and I won't let it define me.
Sam, early in the game there were some mistakes that weren't really your fault but land on your stat sheet and put the team back. When that kind of stuff happens early, do you feel like you maybe are trying to catch up more faster afterwards?
Not really. I mean, I just try to, stay true to who I am and play how I know how to play the game. No matter what goes on throughout the game, no matter what the score is, I try to play the same ball and just try to be who I am as a player, and just try to keep stacking good plays on top of each other.
Ron talked about in the second half he wanted to make sure you remained confident in your ability. Did you guys talk about that at all after the game?
Not really. No, sir.
You talked about this a couple of weeks in a row. Where's your frustration level at, I guess, overall?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to answer that right now. It's been obviously a disappointing couple of weeks here, and would like to play some better football. But at the end of the day, all I can do is control my mindset, my attitude moving forward, and control how I treat each and every day and how I try to get better. And that's what I'll focus on. Cool. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
That was your quarterback, Sam Howell. Now, we are headed to great, but before we do, it is time for Toast of the Town, presented by La Chemin de Ra, Champagne, Branson, and Cognac. B-Mitch taught me how to say it finally. The official champagne and cognac of the Washington Commanders. Now, this goes to no other than Chris Rodriguez, our rookie running back. Not only did he get his first career touchdown, but he also scored a second touchdown, finishing the day with 10 rushes for 58 yards, a catch, and 7 yards. Tanner.
Yeah.
Talk about C-Rod a little bit and what he did for this offense.
I think he had a great outing. 10 carries, 58 yards, average 5.8, 2 touchdowns. You can't beat that day. I like, and I'm hoping that he's okay. You saw him limp off the field a little bit, man. But that was a great performance by a guy. Had to step in for a guy. We talked about B-Rob, but, Rodriguez went out there and did what we saw him do all year long, run the ball hard.
B-Mitch, you were running back. How you feel about C-Rod?
Well, I feel good about him. He came in and he's supposed to be that pounder. And I know Randy talks a lot about he can also catch the ball at the backfield, but that day they needed him to be the pounder. And at 5.8 yards a carry, that's good at any day.
That's good any day. Now, we are going to go to our last break. This is Command Center on the road in New York, brought to you by Northwest Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Washington Commanders. We invite you to stop searching and go Northwest. Check out nwfcu.org/Washington to see how easy it is to join and how Northwest can help make your money work for you. Stop by our branch or visit nwfcu.org/Washington today. We will be back after this final break.
You're going to like this story because it's about you. You who forgot to charge your phone last night. You who sprints to the boarding line so your bag will fit. You with him. Until one day you boarded a United plane that was designed for, well, you. And your phone got charged, your bag fit, so did everyone else's, but this story isn't about them. Your toddler didn't tantrum, and you got to fly happily ever after. The end.
Hey, it's me, food. I'm so much more than just what we eat. I'm hand-cut, fresh and frosted. I love it. Aw, I love you too. See, life is always something new. All messy, frantic, and amazing. And from where I sit, you look delicious. That's why every day is worth celebrating. If you can. Stay fresh. Sincerely, food. Sincerely, Safeway.
The final stone of the championship.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary.
Roger, this is looking good.
We believe every moment in sports should be epic.
Is that curling? Nah.
This morning's news, curling fever has taken over the world.
So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Holiday scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery.
Must have left them in the car.
They're sure to make spirits bright.
Oh, game's on. We need more chips. More dip, too.
More?
Yes, more. Oh, that reminds me. We can still score that $400 bonus from Northwest if we hurry. It's with your first ever checking account.
$400? That's the kind of more I like.
Then let's do it. But first, more chips.
To earn bonus, open first ever checking account and deposit at least $500 in ACH or direct deposits per month within the first 90 days. Offer ends November 30. Details at nwfcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that too. When I'm back on top in June, I said that's life.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Go beyond the expected with the #1 most dependable mass market brand 3 years in a row by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception? First down? Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
One bag. The winter play was really coming together. Until disaster struck. Tensions were high. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. We're delivering more happy for the holidays.
Welcome back, Commanders family, into Command Center Postgame Live, presented by United Airlines. Proud to fly the Washington Commanders. Final score 28-30 on this Christmas Eve game out in MetLife. Fellas, this is our final road game of the season. However, we still have 2 games left on the season. Let's take a look at that now. It's time for Hitting the Road, presented by Northwest Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Washington Commanders. Now, New Year's Eve, we will be playing the Niners at home, and then the 7th of January, we will have the Cowboys at home. Fellas, how are you feeling about this stretch to end the season?
Well, it don't get no easier. I mean, and as a player, all you can do is say, let's go out here and finish strong. You know what I mean? So every man in that locker room want to end the season with a good taste in their mouth. You got 2 competitive teams that you're going to be going against. Both of these teams could be playoff teams, and one of them could be potentially, a Super Bowl team or contender. And just go out there and, play hard, work hard, and finish it out, strong.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the 49ers and the Cowboys. 2 teams are battling to get into the playoffs and try to go to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be tough. Yeah. Nothing is ever easy, but I think everybody on the Washington Commanders are professional athletes, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So you could be the team that goes out there and say, okay, we didn't quit. We kept fighting. Like today, they were down by a large margin, but they came back and made this a competitive game, what we were asking for. And in the last 2 games, people are going to say they don't have a chance. And I hope those 2 teams look past them and they can come up and shock one of them or maybe both of them. Yeah. So the ultimate thing is, like, the season isn't over. You got 2 more. Yeah. You're not paid to play 15. You're paid to play 17. Yep. So in the last 2 games, give it your all.
Yes, can't wait to see those last 2 games. Cannot believe this is my final road trip with these guys. Shout out to Northwest Federal Credit Union. It's not yet. Northwest Federal Credit Union, shout out to y'all for taking care of us, getting us on the road. We have had a blast. But Commanders family, we are going nowhere. Your favorite pre- and post-game show will be at FedEx Field at home for these last 2 games. And if you miss us until then, you can check out Command Center on the Commanders YouTube page. Now, that is it for us. We have a flight to catch. However, Commanders family, we appreciate y'all so much for being here with us. Merry Christmas, and shout out to all our producers on the road and back home for taking care of us and making sure we always look good, especially our lead producer, Maddie Benton, who constantly takes care of us, and then Anna Newkirk as well. Thank you guys so much for everything you all do. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. See y'all soon.